Miami Dolphins today is presented by Magic Spoon for the best tasting cereal on the market that's good for you. Head over to magicspoon.com/Dolphins to save $5 off your first order of Magic Spoon. We'll talk a little bit more about Magic Spoon later on in the video, but first I got to ask this question. What is your biggest Dolphins overreaction after Week 6? And we had a video go out yesterday on the recap, and I was brutally honest on a lot of things, right, when it came down to it. But you have to be after what happened in London against the Jacksonville Jaguars that were 0-5 coming into the game. The only other lone unbeaten team that hadn't lost a game, was the Detroit Lions, and you lay an egg against them. I want to be honest with you guys. This is a safe and honest space, okay? I might be brutally honest, but I'm going to be honest. And you can come into the comments and you can go in there and, hey, RC, what the hell's going on here? Because I'm asking myself the same thing over just in the Chat Sports offices right now. We've talked more about the Dolphins in the past 24 to 36 hours in this office than my whole time working here because everybody's trying to figure out what the hell is going wrong down on South Beach. I can tell you the first problem that's going wrong on South Beach is this one, and it's my first overreaction. Chris Grier has to go yesterday. I mean, he shouldn't have gotten on the flight back home to Miami. Looking at some of these draft classes he has had in the Brian Flores era and 1 year prior to, because I'm not going to put 2021 in here because that's not fair. These guys are 6 weeks into their career. I'm not here to judge that. But in terms of the 2020 to 2018, these are the first 5 picks that Chris Grier has had in each draft. Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, the jury's still out there. Austin Jackson, bust. Noah Igbenogany, bust. Robert Hunt, solid. Roquan Davis, solid. All right, so you hit on maybe 2 out of your first 5, 3 out of your first 5 if you're in on Tua. Now we go to 2019. You got Christian Wilkins, Michael Dieter, Andrew Van Ginkel, Isaiah Prince, who is now with the Bengals, and then you have Myles Gaskin, right? Myles Gaskin was a 7th-round pick, and you could argue up until a couple of weeks ago that he was the best pick out of that draft because Christian Wilkins, he showed up yesterday against Jacksonville, but before that, he hadn't really done much, right? I mean, you think about it. I mean, this draft class, you have a guy starting at center for you that's Andrew Van Ginkel has been hit or miss this year when it comes to it, and then you have the 2018 class, right? Micah Fitzpatrick, you traded away for, well, you shouldn't have gotten a lot more, if I'm being honest. Mike Gesicki, home run. Jerome Baker, home run. Durham Smythe, all right, he's a solid run-blocking tight end. And then you have Kalen Ballage, who had 7 touchdowns against Texas Tech in college, and that might be his lone bright spot of his entire career, outside of maybe a game in the NFL where Kalen Ballage is not an NFL running back. He's just not. He's not very good. And you look at some of these draft picks, let's just be honest about it. There are too many misses on high picks. There just is. When you have this much draft capital and you use it on the offensive line and you swing and miss that much, there's a problem here. And that goes to the GM, the scouting department. But I'm going all the way to the top, and I'm blaming Chris Grier. He has to go, and when I mean it, he has to go yesterday. He is holding this team back. He's made too many bad decisions when it comes to draft picks, and now the Miami Dolphins are suffering the consequences, and more importantly, the fan base is suffering all of the consequences. Something has to change at the GM spot for this team, and it has to change right now. And if you're frustrated just like I am with Chris Grier, and I know you are, just simply like the video. That's all I'm asking on this one. I am just infuriated with Chris Grier at this point because of the lack of just really going out and making sure the offensive line is a priority. Weapons on the offense are great. You have Jalen Waddle and a few guys in the wide receiver core are hurt right now. But your offensive line should have been a priority. It wasn't. And now the offense and really the whole team in general are taking a monumental step backwards because of the lack of awareness he had to really plug some holes on this team. Man, Magic Spoon, you're looking delicious right now. I'm telling you what, that cocoa is ridiculous. I told you we'd talk about Magic Spoon a little bit more. My favorite breakfast cereal right now, by far. I am a cereal addict. Just ask my girlfriend on this. I'm one of those guys that in the morning I could potentially eat 2, 3, maybe the whole box of cereal, and I'd feel guilty about it when it was some of those bad cereals, and you know which ones I'm talking about. Magic Spoon completely changed that for me. I don't feel guilty at all. You get 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net carbs. Best part about it, 0 grams of sugar, and I don't feel bad afterwards. I love the cocoa. I love the cinnamon. I love the blueberry. I mean, I love every flavor Magic Spoon has, and I promise you will too. All you got to do is go over to magicspoon.com/dolphins to save $5 off your first order of Magic Spoon. I promise you won't regret it. And if you're over there, you might as well get 5 boxes, 4 boxes, however many boxes you want. It's the holiday season. Give that special someone some Magic Spoon and go over to magicspoon.com/dolphins. Oh, I'm not done with this rant yet. I'm not done. The coaching needs to change, and they're just needed. The coaching changes are needed, and they are needed right now, specifically on defense. I mean, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't understand how you can have this many talented guys on defense and your season stats can look like this as a unit. 417.8 total yards per game allowed. Almost 30 points per game allowed. I mean, how are you this bad defensively when your head coach in Brian Flores is a defensive-minded head coach? Like, what the hell are you doing, Brian? Like, you had one job. You have one job, right? You think about it. When you hire a defensive-minded head coach, what is supposed to be good? The defense, right? That's what's supposed to happen. And with the Dolphins right now, it's not happening. You were elite last year. You were the darlings of the NFL media when it came to, oh my goodness, the Miami Dolphins have an elite defense. They have a great cornerback duo in Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. They're going to take that next leap, and it'll help the offense take the next leap as well. Wrong. They're looking more like 2019 where they were tanking. I mean, what's going on? Like, what has changed here in terms of personnel and then mindset? Just how? Like, how? Just how are you this bad defensively? Right? You're no longer in the rebuild stage, Miami. You're not. Chris Grier, Brian Flores, I'm looking at you. The whole fan base is looking at you, irritated with how much regression has happened for this Miami Dolphins team. It's infuriating. Right? You have so much damn talent on that defensive side of the football. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Christian Wilkins. You have Emmanuel Ogbah, Jerome Baker. I mean, we're naming guys that it wouldn't shock anybody if they go to the Pro Bowl here. And you have the 30th overall defense in the NFL with a defensive-minded head coach that refuses to make adjustments. I get injuries are part of the game. I really do. Byron Jones, Xavier Howard, not 100% and didn't play in Week 5. But this is not just a Week 5 problem. This has been a whole season-long problem. I mean, think about it. You've gotten blown out 35-0. Your offense did you no favors. And then the one win you have this season is by 1 point. 1 point in Week 1. You are on a 5-game losing streak, and the defense has to change. When you're giving up 30 points per game with a bad offense, you should be 1-5. And I am blaming Brian Flores and Chris Grier, but I want to know who you're blaming for just the abysmal start for the Miami Dolphins this season. 1-5. What the hell is going on with this franchise? Let me know who you're blaming. Are you blaming the offensive coordinators in Godsey and Studesville? You blaming Brian Flores, Chris Grier? I'm probably typing CG and BF down there, but if you got somebody else you want to blame, maybe you want to blame Tua. I don't know how you can, but maybe you do. Type O down in the comments and let me know who you are blaming for this abysmal 1-5 start for the Miami Dolphins. Speaking of Tua, he lived up to the hype in Week 6. I thought Tua actually looked pretty good outside of one just terrible throw to Lawson in the Jaguars secondary. I mean, when he came down to it, I thought he actually looked pretty good in his return from fractured ribs, right? 33 of 47, 329, 2 TDs, and as I mentioned, he did have that one interception. But overall, I really thought Tua played well. He had some head-scratching throws, but which NFL quarterback doesn't, right? And considering Tua and the circumstances he had in front of him, right? Let's start with the offensive line. It's still kind of a makeshift offensive line right now, right? But haters are going to hate on Tua's performance. They're going to hate on it because, well, he could have done more. You're playing Jacksonville. You should go win this game. Well, I agree somewhat, but even the greatest quarterbacks are limited by their defense. And the Miami Dolphins defense yesterday was not good. I thought Jacksonville really did a lot of favors to the Jaguars, or to the Miami Dolphins defense, excuse me. Trevor Lawrence made some bonehead throws. He's a rookie. It's going to happen. But when he wasn't making bonehead throws, he was capitalizing on Noah Igbenogany on the outside. But you're looking at what's going on here in terms of just this Dolphins offense and what they did yesterday. again, these are good numbers. They can't run the football for anything right now, but to be honest with you, do they even have a good running back? And I hear the comments all the time, hey, they need to go trade for a running back. It's like, I don't know who's out there on the available market with all these injuries right now that the Dolphins could really go out and get an impact guy in the backfield. I just don't see one right now because Myles Gaskin laid an egg this year. Malcolm Brown, I don't know why he's on an NFL roster other than pass blocking. And then Saban Ahmed, I mean, he's good in moderation, but you don't want to use him a lot. For me with Tua, right, this came down to he performed really, really well without 3 of his top 4 wide receivers. You think about it. You don't have Devontae Parker, you don't have Preston Williams, and you don't have Will Fuller. I mean, this is one of those deals where you have what's in front of you, have the weapons around you. The Dolphins made it a priority to get Tua weapons, and they did get him weapons. They're not healthy, but they should have had a priority of making the offensive line better, and I think his numbers even would have been better yesterday. Also, by the way, what the hell are we doing with Jalen Waddle? Like, 7 yards per catch? Use him differently. He is a baller, and you are using him just in an atrocious manner. I mean, atrocious. Like, Tua is doing everything he can to get him out in space, but the play calling is just abysmal on the offensive side of the football. Just absolutely ridiculous. Listen, I know I've been brutal. I'm going to be brutally honest, but this is a safe space. Subscribe to the channel right now. We'll be giving you Miami Dolphins' latest rumors and news here on the channel all season long, even if the season isn't going in the direction we want. Listen, this week I've already talked about it to a couple guys here in the studio. We might have to do some coaching rumors because I think Brian Flores might be on the hot seat here. Maybe looking forward to the draft a little bit. I know Miami doesn't have their own pick, but they do have the 49ers pick, which right now, as it stands, is the 11th overall pick going into Week 7. It would be a lot better if you had the 3rd overall pick, but instead you traded up for Jalen Waddle. Not a bad decision right now, but you want that pick anyway. But hey, subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you in the know all season long about your Miami Dolphins. All you have to do is turn that red button gray to stay in the know all season long. Last one I've got, hey, it's a bright spot from Week 6. Liam Eichenberg is the future at left tackle. I love everything I saw about Liam Eichenberg in the sense that what did you have to look at left tackle before this? And it was Austin Jackson. And Austin Jackson, coming into Week 6, led the NFL in QB pressures allowed. Not an ideal stat. And by no means am I saying Liam Eichenberg is perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but you see a lot of flashes from Liam Eichenberg. You just need that sustained success. And I really don't mind this offensive line unit right now because they're working out the kinks. I wish there was a little bit more experience in terms of a overall veteran feel that had proven what they've done in the NFL. Jesse Davis is a veteran, but he's not great by any stretch of the imagination. In his 5th start of the season versus Jacksonville, right, I thought Liam Eichenberg looked really good. And he's a positive, right? Because you think about your first 3 picks in the draft this year for the Miami Dolphins. I think Jalen Waddle is going to be a star wide receiver. I think Jalen Phillips is panning out to be absolutely phenomenal. And if Liam Eichenberg can be your left tackle of the future and you have 3 hits, maybe I was premature on saying Chris Grier needs to go. I still think he does, but maybe there's reason why you would keep him. I just think Liam Eichenberg is solidifying himself as an elite run blocker on the left side for the Miami Dolphins. And now the problem is, as we show the offensive stats against Jacksonville, Miami can't run the football worth a damn. I mean, they just can't right now because they don't have a good running back to begin with. But I think once you get guys in there and you get a better scheme for this Miami Dolphins team, Liam Eichenberg will be a bright spot and a building block on that offensive line for the Miami Dolphins for years to come. And don't think just because I'm saying he's an elite run blocker doesn't mean he can't be a great pass blocker too. I think he's a very solid pass blocker, but he is an elite run blocker, and that should come as no surprise seeing how as he went to Notre Dame and Big Ten football is, really one of those ground and pound type games up there in that cold, wintry environment with the Golden Domers. But hey, let me know, what is your biggest Dolphins overreaction after Week 6? Again, I'm telling you, Chris Grier needed to go yesterday. Brian Flores or a coaching change is needed right now. Tua Tagovailoa, he impressed me. And then Liam Eichenberg, left tackle of the future, I think so. Let me know down in the comments if you haven't already. What is your biggest Dolphins overreaction after Week 6? And if you don't want to do it down in the comments, follow me on Twitter and at me there what your biggest Dolphins overreaction after Week 6 is. And hey, appreciate y'all listening to Miami Dolphins today.